Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic. So where does just finished washing go?
In the washing machine or the dryer?
Right.
Or hanging
It either
dry.
has to stay in the washing machine, it has to go in the dryer, or it has to get hung up so that it dries.
Seems reasonable.
Those are the three possibilities, right?
Yeah.
And that covers everything, because if you don't have a real washer or a dryer, you hang it on a clothing line. Who cares?
I'm sure there's some
Every option's
exceptions,
covered.
but those are the three major places.
Pretty
where it
major
goes.
options, exactly.
Yeah.
So why would somebody take someone's wash and throw it on the floor?
Because they're an entitled sack of dog shit.
So something happened over the weekend, and it just goes to show the inconsiderateness of people in society and how they handle stuff.
And things.
So tell the story of what happened.
So, as you all know, we have a plethora of dogs. Two of which are not the most potty-trained beasts in the world. So, like twice a week, I have an entire washing machine full of dog diapers to wash. Just
It's like
to keep them
having-
cleaner.
It's like having babies.
And it doesn't make smell like piss all the time. It's much nicer that we wash them. Anyway, so I put them in the washing machine, and I'll admit it, I was not down there at the exact 30-minute mark that my laundry finished. It was probably more like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel super unreasonable to me, especially since I've waited longer down
And
there for
especially
other people.
And especially since there were 3 empty machines.
Yeah, it was the only one with stuff in it. That's super relevant. Okay. So then, 45 minutes later, playing Mario Party with some dinguses, I toddle downstairs. There's my nice clean pile of dog diapers, sprawled out on the fucking floor.
On the floor.
The dirty floor. Probably with like 79 medieval diseases. This is how I'm going to get the bubonic plague on the floor.
Is it the person? Are they there?
No, it was just 4 running washing machines and my stack of stuff on the floor.
So likely the person who threw the stuff on the floor is using 4 machines at one time.
Yes, and this was later confirmed that they were indeed using 4 machines.
That's just insane.
That's
and
rude on its
inconsiderate.
own in a building that only has 4 laundry machines.
On a weekend day.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. What some people will say is like, hey, so-and-so was rude because she usually does laundry on Wednesday, and she knows that I do laundry on Tuesday, and she decided to do her laundry on Tuesday and didn't tell me. She's rude. Well, I mean, I suppose you could argue that if you want, or you could argue that, well, so-and-so is allowed to do her laundry on Tuesday every once in a while. She damn well feels like
in an
it.
apartment building situation, that argument is super invalid.
Now, I think if you two are friends, that's a different story.
Right, if it's just the two of you in the house,
that's one friend hanging out, or even if you're roommates, because
Right.
roommates do laundry on different days. You should tell the other person.
I agree.
But when you go down on a weekend day and there's 4 machines, one of them's in use, you don't use up all 4 machines by taking that person's stuff out and throwing it on the ground, because you shouldn't use up all 4 machines to begin with.
So then I raged through my stuff in the dryer and I stood there for at least 5 minutes contemplating how much of a bitch I felt like being in retaliation.
Sure, I figured you had time to think about it.
Because there's all their washing machines running. 4 perfectly good washing machines that I could have pooped in. Or just opened. Just opened would have been enough to piss anyone off. Because then you come downstairs after the 30-minute mark, and there's none of your laundry done. Suck balls, people. But I didn't do anything. I was like, nope, not doing it. I don't need your bad karma in my life.
Yeah, no drama.
So, because I did not take that bad karma into my life, when I go downstairs to get my stuff out the dryer, there they are. The people who took my shit out the washer.
Of course, it has to be them because they're the only other people washing now.
And I know it was them because they were taking stuff out of all 4 washers, which I might add means that there was more than an hour in between them starting their laundry and being down there taking their stuff out of laundry bins. Because the dryer takes an hour.
I already thought about that.
Dryer takes an hour.
I already thought about that.
And their shit is piled everywhere. They have stuff on the table. P.S. There's a table in the laundry room. That would have been a perfectly acceptable place to stack my laundry.
Yeah.
That they had shit all over the table. They had shit on the tops of the 2 dryers you can use. They had shit on the counter. They had like 17 laundry bins. They had dryer doors open. They had stuff hanging on the open dryer doors. And I'm like, this is not your personal laundry room, people.
So now let's break it down, though. Okay,
People.
Let's break it down to a simpler term. You just told a big old story.
I did.
Way to go.
You
possibly gave us the title of the episode, 4 perfectly good washing machines that I could have pooped in. I mean, that would be, you want to talk about grabbing people's attention. That's going to grab people's attention. They're going to want to know what it's about. And if I write the notes funny enough, it could be, I don't know, it could be great. But anyway, so we've got that whole story. But let's just break it down into the simplest terms. Who thinks it's okay to throw someone's laundry on the floor?
Entitled jerkwaffles.
Exactly. Because your stuff doesn't matter to them even a little bit. Even a little bit. Like, if I went down after like more than an hour,
right,
and the wash was still in there, yeah, I would take it out of the washing machine more than likely.
Yes.
It all depends. It all depends on how long it was. But if it was that long, I probably would. But I would show some respect for that person's stuff, and I would put it on the table.
I've taken stuff out of people's washing machines twice. One time, their basket was there. I put their wet laundry in their basket, and I put it on top of a dryer. That seems like the most courteous thing. The other time, the laundry sat there for 6 days, and I took it out and I put it on the table. And the reason I knew it was there for 6 days is because somebody else had already written a rude note saying, your shit's been in here for 6 days. When are you going to move it?
That's funny. That's pretty.
Clearly the answer is never.
Well, but that brings us then to the next step of the problem. These kinds of things don't just happen in the laundry room. Then we have like a building here where they're super liberal about dogs. Like, I'm sorry, but Dodger, I love that dog, but he's over 35 pounds.
He's a big boy.
The rule is 35 pounds.
So is our friend Lila.
Yeah, and the rule is 35 pounds. But that's my point. They're liberal, and they allow the dog. And I think that's great. I'm not complaining that they allow the dogs. I think it's awesome.
Well, and you think about it, there's that big dog on the second floor that's also like 6 pounds.
And I'm going to take it a place that the crowd doesn't think I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it to, instead of making it boo-hoo, why are they allowing 35-pound dogs in the place? They should control it because, we happen to have less than 35-pound dogs, at least for now. But where I'm going to take it is all those people who have been allowed to have dogs, period, in an apartment.
Yeah, should be thankful.
Should be thankful and should follow every rule that has to do with dogs. But no, they can't do that. They let their dog take a dump.
Everywhere.
Wherever they feel like it.
On the sidewalk.
Leave it there.
In the bushes. On a rock. On a leaf. On the mat at the front. On somebody else's doorstep.
But there's a certain argument out there that's going to say, if you don't give me a way to clean it up, then I'm just not going to try. And I think that's hold on. It's a bad argument. It's a bad argument for 2 reasons. The first reason I'm going to tell them, and the second reason you're going to tell them. The first reason that it's a bad argument is you don't do something because somebody else doesn't do something. It's a bad idea. And what's the second reason why it's?
There are 3 trees of poo bags in our building, and I have never once seen all 3 trees of poo bags empty. So walk your fat lazy ass to the tree of poo bags and fucking pick up your dog's shit.
And that's why it's a simple thing, but something like that could get animals banned from here. And like everyone, what people forget, this is the problem. I've kind of realized what it is. It goes back to our entertainment commentary about how everybody wants instant gratification. People also only live in the moment. They don't think ahead.
Right.
They don't look back at what happened to them. They only live in the moment. What happened yesterday happened yesterday. Nobody cares. Why do we care? Why are we talking about it?
Right.
But you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again if that's your attitude.
Correct.
You have to look a little bit ahead. And if you look a little bit out, yeah, right now, there's a manager here who loves animals. And so she's going to look the other way as long as you don't bring in some 150-pound vicious dog. And I didn't say pit bull, German shepherd, whatever, just a vicious dog that's big. She's going to look the other way.
I think it should be just vicious dog.
But I think she's just going to, well, I agree, but I think she's just going to look the other way.
Right.
And that's great. But what happens the day she decides she doesn't want to work here anymore? Or, God forbid, gets fired or retires?
Yeah.
And they bring someone in who isn't quite the animal lover that she is. Then what happens?
Then you're screwed. Completely
Exactly.
Screwed.
But if you think ahead
Completely screwed.
and you follow the rules and you pick up the dog crap, then the new person coming in really doesn't have a way to get rid of your dogs because you're following the rules.
Exactly. So all those people who let their dogs crap everywhere. And the funny part is, I know who you are, dog crappers. Stop it!
It's ridiculous. And then that takes me to the people who park in the fire lane.
Who does that?
And
Everybody.
when I outed somebody recently, their only retort was to come up with a picture from a year and a half before showing like 12 cars parked in the fire lane and going, well, it's gotten better. But their car was the one parked in the fire lane. So why are they parked in the fire lane?
You notice that person has not parked in the fire lane since.
Of course not, because they got shamed. And the other person who commented agreed that they shouldn't be parked there.
Right.
So they felt shamed
Right.
by it. I mean, it is what it is.
Unfortunately, the manager doesn't seem to care that people park in the fire lane.
She cares, but she doesn't.
She cares, but she doesn't do anything about it. How about that?
Exactly. That's better. But, you know, here, that fire lane thing is the lady that posted it on the group tonight. What is her name? Darla or Daria? I can never remember her name. Yeah, she's on our Facebook group. Anyway, that lady made the comment that parking there makes it dangerous for people who are trying to traverse the ramp.
Especially whoever's parked down there right now. They're like 18 feet away from the curb. They essentially just parked in the middle of the freaking roadway.
And they're a dark-colored vehicle.
They're going to get hit, and they're going to be pissed. And that's their karma. I don't feel bad for them even a little bit.
Well, yeah, it's like the person, same person as the fire lane parking, coming back with their crazy retort. They wanted to argue about parking there and how long people park there and how you can. I don't have a problem leaving. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Recyclables by the trash dumpster.
Or recyclables in front of the mailboxes.
And so my response to the recyclables was, you keep leaving the recyclables here. I'm going to show the homeless people where you live so they can skip the need to come to the trash. Oh my gosh, she says, who says stuff like that? Who says stuff like that?
People who are pissed off and tired of people trespassing in our building.
People who are tired of people breaking in and increasing the crime. And then, part of why I get really upset by all of that is like, I'm not like the person that went through our car and and I even think the person who went through the guy across the hall's car, those were probably homeless. And the reason I guess that,
I think that the guy who had all the stuff stolen was a homeless person going through.
Well, the reason that I'm kind of borderline on that one, but on ours I'm 100% that it was homeless. They were looking for money.
And they
anything that they could sell really quickly. Yeah,
the garage door open.
Anything they could sell real quickly.
Yeah.
And the problem that with all of this is that they don't they meaning the management people, they don't take any of it seriously enough. And so, like, I think they take it seriously. I don't know. I'm kind of in a toss up on that. I think they take it seriously, but I think that so many times they've been told no about things
Right.
that they just don't even bother.
Yeah. I mean, the whole situation when our car was broken into and the gate opener was taken and they wouldn't change the freaking gate opener code because it was too much hassle. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. But why? That's not even something they'd be told no about. That's just something she needs to do.
Well, yeah,
You know?
it's
But
like
everything
it's
else, I
like
get it.
it's like I guarantee you. Hell, I don't even know why she wouldn't have just said, you know what? I got to charge you $50 because I have to change everybody's code.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean, I could send that to my insurance. I don't care.
Right.
I mean, so charge me $50. And then you're being paid to take care of changing the code. And then it's not as much of a hassle because you've been paid to do it.
Still feels unreasonable.
I
Yes,
don't
I get it.
disagree with you, but I'm like giving them an out. But they didn't even take that approach at all. They just kind of, oh well. And that's what gets people in
Well,
trouble is the whole oh well attitude.
Yeah.
People threw stuff on the floor. You know why? Oh well, it's not mine. People park in the fire lane because if you hit me, you're responsible. Guess what? I'm gonna tell you, a good attorney from an insurance company could easily argue that it's 100% their fault for parking there with no flashers on.
100%.
Doesn't mean it's labeled no parking.
Do you remember when you were parked and that crazy woman hit your car with her mirror and then tried to blame you for it?
Yes.
And you were like right on the edge of the fire lane.
Yeah,
I was in
the white.
In the white.
Just past the red.
But like there was maybe a millimeter between the back of your car and the fire lane.
Well, here's the thing. All of these things tie together, like I said, with the oh well attitude. It's like they park there, oh well. I leave recycling here and homeless people come in the building, oh well. But the problem is the oh well becomes the attractant of crime.
Yeah.
And you know how we were talking about how of the criminals amongst homeless people, most of them are actually criminals hiding amongst the homeless people?
Right.
Well, even this is the same thing. Maybe it was a homeless person who happened through here and saw it, but then is really a criminal, so calls up his buddies and is like, hey, over here at this place, they've got this in a car. Follow me?
I do follow you.
So it's this oh well attitude that just causes all of it. It's like a domino effect. So that's the deal with, as far as I'm concerned. Do you disagree?
No, I don't.
So then people should just stop being entitled and start thinking about other people. And that's when my rights end where your rights begin and vice versa. And you don't have a right to touch my stuff and throw it on the floor. If you touch my stuff, treat it with respect, I'm not going to complain.
No, even though it's generally annoying that you've taken my stuff out very, very little time after it was finished because you're an entitled piece of shit who wants to use all 4 washing machines, if you don't throw it on the floor, I'm not going to say a freaking word about it. You throw it on the floor, and now I have a problem with you.
Yeah, and the same thing. You see the sign says don't park here and you park here, I got a problem with you. You're basically saying you're more important than everybody else.
Let's just say, I was not polite to those people.
Well, what always gets me is when you're like what people call a rule follower or a stickler for the rules. Mm-hmm. They make it sound like you want everything your way, and your way is the right way. Well, here's the thing.
Your way is the right way if you're following the rules.
I didn't make the rules. Someone else did.
Correct.
All I did was follow the rules. And if everybody followed the rules, we wouldn't have recycling on the ground with homeless people coming in, roaming around the apartment complex. There would be far less break-ins.
There would be no dog shit anywhere.
There'd be no dog shit anywhere.
The jackass in the back who keeps leaving their wads of paper towel by the stairs wouldn't do that anymore.
Exactly. All of those things would go away because everyone would be following the rules. So no, following the rules does not benefit one person or a group of people. It benefits all people.
That's not even being considerate of others. That's just not shitting on others.
Well, but that's why
Not shitting.
But when someone tries to make a good rule, they try to make sure that adherence to it is good for everybody.
It's a positive interaction for everybody.
Right.
Maybe more positive for some than others. It's
Right,
not gonna be
always.
negative for anyone.
Always. But it's not going to be something that anyone would be opposed to. And I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And I feel like, unfortunately, the interactions that you have with people these days just turns into this, I'm entitled. It's my, it's kind of like the whole thing about the opinion versus fact. Oh, well, I'm entitled to my opinion. Well, why don't you just stop at I'm entitled? That pretty much explains it all. That's all I got to say about this topic that, interestingly, you started out ranting about and I finished ranting about. So that would mean it's time for...
Good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.